there's so many times when I will hear a student say, everything worked great on my computer, but when I uploaded it to the live site, my images didn't show up anymore. And it's a very frustrating thing if you don't know what to do or how to fix it. So this video is designed to give you some troubleshooting ideas. These are the most common errors I see happen all the time to beginning students. So let me see if I can help relieve some of that frustration. If you upload your files to the live site and all of a sudden your image doesn't work, but it worked fine on your computer before you uploaded it, let me show you some things that you can look at. The first error that I see happen very often, and I cannot explain to this second, or I can't replicate how students do it, but it happens a lot. So let me show what I see and how you can fix it. So here you can see a file that's Dory, and it says dory.gif. So you look at it and say, well, that file name looks just fine. It's a GIF file and it's named Dory. Well, in fact, if I come into this View tab, so this is normally what you see in your File Explorer. If you click on this View tab and you come over to this little box down here that says Filename Extensions, and I click on the Filename Extensions, what it's asking to do is let me see what the extension name of that file was. Well, we thought we were looking at it here. Sometimes it seems that photo editing programs save, I guess maybe the student types in the file extension, but the program adds another extension on the end of it. So come into this file name extensions. Very first off, I would always have it on, and so that you can see the file extension name. This dory.gif.gif, if you don't put in that name in the source file, it won't work in the source property. So always look here, and I would at this point, if I were the student, tell them, get rid of that erroneous extension, and so we just have dory.gif. If this was not checked, I wouldn't see the extension and the file name would be Dory. So this is the very first precaution I would suggest to you when we're doing web design. Make sure that that file name extensions is showing and that you in fact have what you think you have. So that's tip number one. The next tip would be, I am keeping this, and this happens a lot and it's good organization, to keep an images folder with all of the images in the folder. Can you do that? Absolutely. So all the HTML files and CSS files would be in the root directory, and then you could create another folder that has the images. And that's very easy to do. When I want to display that image, I would have to have, here's my image source, I would have to have the name of that folder, and then the backward slash, or forward slash, I guess that is, and the name of that file. So now, having that folder name in there with the correct path, I should be able to see Dory. Fantastic, there it is. If I didn't have that images there, it would be looking in the root directory, and of course that's not in the root directory, it's in a folder, so this would not be showing. Oh, I've got an error. Okay, so that seems pretty straightforward. So I'm going to put images back in here with my forward slash, and I'll save that. So now it's time to upload it to the main site, to the live site. And I'm just double check, is Dory showing up? Yes, she is. I'm very happy. Everything should be working as planned, and I'm good to go, right? Okay, so let's go look into File Explorer. And I'm going to upload this to my live site because everything's working. I'm really happy. I've validated it. Nag, nag, nag. All my code is working correctly. I'm going to choose an open new window here so I can see these side by side, because to me this is the easiest way to upload files. So I have two windows here, and in one of these windows I'm going to log into my FTP site. You guys should know how to do this by now. And I have a slow internet connection, so hopefully eventually that'll come up. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to delete this, pretend like it wasn't here for demonstration purposes. So I want to upload my new files. I've made some changes. I'm going to just drag this whole folder with the images over. That's great. So now I should have Dory. There it goes. So now Dory's in that images. I made a change to my index file, so I'm going to come over here and overwrite that file. Yes, overwrite it. That'd be great. So now I've updated my index file. I have the images folder, and so everything should work just like I saw it a second ago. right? So I'm going to go into my live site. Have any of you tried to put this onto your live site into your phone URL? Did you know you could do that? It is a live site, you know. Okay, so CIS130.net, summer 16, my username, and because oh, wait a minute. How come my image isn't showing? It worked fine in my site that I looked at from my computer, from my local file. So here's what you can do. Here's some troubleshooting that really comes in handy. You can see that my image is trying to display here, but the browser doesn't know how to find it or how to display it. I'm going to right click on that little image and I'm going to choose View Image. And so here is my live path, my live server path that the browser thinks it needs to use to find that image. So the browser is saying, I need to look on the live site. There's the path. I need a folder named Images, and in that folder, I need to see that there's a file named dory.gif. Okay, well, let me open up my live site. And in my live site, this is my root directory, so that goes as far as this right here. Oops. So my root directory goes here. So as far as that goes, where'd that go? There we go. This is my root directory. So it says there should be a folder named Images. Well, there is a folder named Images. Okay, so I'm going to click on the folder. The browser says there should be a file in there called dory.gif. And I'm thinking, well, there is a file called dory.gif. So why is it not displaying? Well, remember that this window is a direct link to my live server, which is a Linux machine. A Linux machine is case sensitive. A PC, which is what my local file is using, is not case sensitive. So when I sent this file up to the live site, can you see that my images folder is capital? But when I typed it into my HTML, let's look at that again, I did not capitalize the images folder. I made it small. I made it lowercase. And in fact, the browser is looking for a lowercase images folder, and it's not finding it, so therefore it doesn't know how to render that image. So you have two fixes. One is to go into your HTML file, HTML code, and make that a capital, or I can make it a capital here, or excuse me, a lowercase here. So if I make this a lowercase, and spell it correctly, so now that's a lowercase, and maybe I can't rename it from here. I'm going to try it again. Images. Let's see if that worked. It doesn't show that it did, but yep, okay. So it's not letting me do it from the server, FTP, which is fine. I'll just rename it here because I can do it locally. Images. All right. And then I'm going to delete the one that's misspelled since it won't let me rename it on the FTP server. Okay. And then I'll drag. There we go. Now it's lowercase images. And in lowercase images, I should have a dory. I do not yet have a dory. So I'm going to drag dory over. Oh, it says it just didn't update it. Refresh it, obviously, but we'll make sure that it's there. Okay. So now I'm seeing a dory. So now this file should be, this path should be correct now. So if I hit my refresh key, I should see dory. Yay! And in fact, now if I go back to my index page, I should see dory. So hopefully that eliminates some frustration on your part when you upload some of your image files, because it can be really frustrating. Use those visual cues to help you. And remember, lowercase, this is why I stress lowercase and no spaces. So that'll keep you safe up on your Linux machine. All right, hope that helps.